Welcome to the first Enactus SSE podcast. We're honored to be introducing our first guest ever, SHASHANK PARIMI. He's a senior consultant at EY. Yes, I know every corporate aspirant's biggest dream. Hello, SHASHANK, sir.
Hi,
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Okay, let's get started.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
when you were a research associate at the Eclavia Foundation, you collaborated with UNICEF and state officials, leading projects that brought indigenous knowledge into mainstream education while addressing challenges like systemic change, multilingual education, and sustainability. So, during this project, you were obviously working with tribal communities. Was there anything that you've learned from these tribal communities that you've integrated into your own life, as well as the curriculum that you've designed?
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I didn't catch
I'm
it.
Ovia.
Pardon?
Ovia.
Ovia. Okay. That is like really easy to remember. Yeah. So, it was really a very fun experience because I was not actually planning for it.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, I was, this urban kid who suddenly got into the mix of certain things, and one thing led to another, and I found myself there working in a very, at that time it was it was very peak insurgency hit areas of Chhattisgarh, and it was very new to me. I wouldn't say weird because I was weirded out, but it was pretty new experience for me. And the biggest thing that in hindsight I see from my learnings there is that I think we think living in an urban setting that we know a lot, and we our way is the right way, and all the others are just highways. But I think one thing that stuck with me when I was there was the sense of community and the
Hmm.
sense of belonging, and the sense of being one with the nature is at a much high level there when like if I compare it to when I was living in urban spaces. And even now, even right now, like I still take out time just to still see and try to have that sense of community, and be close to nature as 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 for as long as I can. And it also depends on how much can you do it, because it's very tough in your daily life, but but you have to find ways, so that's depends on each individual. But yeah, I would say that those two things I still carry with me.
Okay. So you said that you always were mostly used to urban spaces and how you like that sense of belonging in tribal areas. So are there any ways that you've implemented bringing that sense of belonging into urban areas?
I mean, it's really very pretty little things that I've tried. It's not at a very great level, but at least what I've tried is that whenever I go on to work with new teams, I make sure at least that the team has a sense of community and the sense of that team, rather than just being individual contributors. We all work together towards one aim, rather than even like, for example, if for a current role, say my profile is completely of tech and data guy,
Hmm.
so it doesn't mean that I ignore my other teammates job role, whatever he or she is doing. So I make sure that person knows what I'm doing, and I also make sure that I know what they're doing, so that whole belongingness is created, and at least that helps with the team dynamics. And also when it applies across even your clients, like for example, all the people working in the government, they have to make sure that you are one, so that such little things that I have incorporated. And I make sure to tell them what, like in Delhi, for example, we have a lot of urban forests. Like
Hmm.
I have Halls Rani near me, and there are like Sanjay one and multiple. So I make sure I push them to, just go there and spend some time.
Okay. That's really nice. Okay, so after this, you worked with the government of Telangana, where you managed
Yeah.
PMU governance, collaborated with the World Bank, designed edtech projects for over 3,000 schools, all driven by data. And you've also created MOOC courses for 20,000 educators while incorporating ESG principles. So, for all the people who know that ESG stands for environment, social, and governance, and for the people who don't, can you please explain on what ESG is and why it's important for businesses?
So I mean that'll take up a lot of time, to be very honest. But yeah, I'll just try to keep it very short.
Hmm.
I mean, ESG was always there, and people were, really focusing on the SG part, the social aspect and the governance aspect, because of course you don't want to, really piss off the government because that's you have to be on good terms and you have to follow all the regulation because they're set for a reason. And also, like all the companies, anyways, were doing their CSR bit,
Hmm.
and they were uh, giving back to the community in form of say funds or like their employees volunteering for certain projects and like different things. And the environment has come up lately, where people are trying to go more towards reducing the carbon footprint and achieving net zero by 2030. That's highly ambitious, to be from my personal experience, that I'd say. But at least people are talking about it, and companies have also, really conscious about their whole supply chain from where they are getting their products, and they should be clean, and
Hmm.
um, and make sure that at least we are not damaging nature in uh, completely focusing on profits and revenue, but we're still making sure that we're conscious of the world we're living in, so that the whole dystopia that we see in movies doesn't become
Become
a
a
reality.
reality.
I know we like those movies, but nobody would really want to live that
Live
way.
in the.
So, so at least it's all going, but like there are different technical stuff. They have the like mandated by the government. You have your different reports. Now you have your company ratings based on that, and it's like carbon credits, they're coming in. You have your markets for that, and it's all coming in. I mean, I would say like I would just say, just uh sit back and just look at what happens, because I would still say it's in a very nascent stage right now, and
Hmm.
nobody has really the key or a hack to it on how to do it perfectly. But yeah, I mean, it's going on. The people are talking about it. It's good.
Yeah. So a lot of college students are interested in going into ESG. So what do you think are the factors that they have to take into consideration? Because how do you analyze the ESG report? Companies can either be greenwashing or they can actually be sustainable. Like, how do you differentiate between that?
So I mean, I always give this suggestion to anybody who wants to come on to work in ESG, that you have to be very clear where do you want to work on. Either ESG is a very huge and a very large domain, where you have three sectors clubbed together. You have your environment part, you have the social part, and you have the governance part. All in itself are three big pillars, and the three big sectors that you have to work on. So like what people think that what queries I get on a daily basis, to be very honest, is that I want to work in ESG, want to work in ESG. And what I have perceived right now, I think it's largely it has just been right now it's just a buzzword that people have just picked up.
Hmm.
See, so back in the 2000s, when in the 90s, when like we started school and we were in the school. So a lot of there was a lot of outsourcing done in the US, and there were a demand for engineers. So everybody wanted to become a software engineer. So like when I passed out of the college,
Hmm.
and now it's I think it's the ESG is the equivalent of that. So I would say people need to understand where they want to work, because either you focus completely on one trade and then slowly move on to the other trade. But like tackling all the three together would be, I would say, it would be not, it would be a really a mammoth challenge, and not really feasible. And you would be frustrated that you're not doing anything, you can't see your impact and all. And you would be confused, to be very honest, because even though we club them together, they really are three different things. So you
Oh,
need to figure out what you want. It's just reporting is just like getting the feedback from all your three teams, and just like work on the report. So like these are like, different things that you really need to focus on, where do you want to go.
hmm. Okay. So I know I've been asking a lot about ESGs, but currently we have, I mean, at least the first years, we have a project on SDGs and we have a
Yeah.
research project based on that. So we have to study a lot on that. So I'm asking more questions on ESGs if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
how, yeah, how would you say that ESGs are better than the standardized reports that businesses already produce? Like, what are some key differences that you'd like to point out?
I mean, it's just another reporting, like compliance reports change. Earlier it was something else, now it is something else. It's interesting that you bought SDG into the foray, is because I would still say that focusing, if you just focus on the SDGs right now, uh, that would really help us achieving what we are planning to do, rather than focusing on fancy reports that corporates print out. So I mean, to be very honest, and to be very like brutally honest, that right now I don't see, much of a change. And because it's ESG has just become a kind of a compliance thing that companies have to do,
Hmm.
rather than really believe in. There are companies who want to be sustainable, but like where there's a very thin line between sustaining the environment, and sustaining the revenue or the business model they have. And I would say it's like uh, not to really demotivate you guys, but what I can see, and what from where I am, is that there's a lot of greenwashing that's going on. And largely all, like everyone is just busy doing that, rather than focusing their energies on actual sustainability, is what my comments are. So that's, to answer your questions, I mean, it's just another report that the companies need to come out of, and nothing
Okay.
else.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of companies claim that they're green, but then contribute so much to just waste all around the world. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's like they are focusing on either their scope 1 or scope 2 emissions, but
Hmm.
like they completely turning blind eye to the scope 3 emissions. They just like worried about what we are doing, what our employees are doing, and that's it. So
Especially H&M as a brand. It says it's green, but it has contributed so much to fast fashion. So I've seen a lot of brands do that, like around, yeah,
just that it's just not that brand. It's just like mostly
many other brands. Yeah.
it's a whole geographical thing,
Hmm.
that these I mean Western and European countries, they just want to blame the developing nations and the third world countries to uh, they are not looking at their emissions based on their population, but they're blaming like us, that you need to reduce.
Yeah.
But I mean, so it's I can't really help it.
Uh, so after working with Telangana government, you are a fellow at the Delhi Legislative Assembly. So this is kind of
Yeah.
off topic, but what government are you gonna do next? Are you gonna cover the whole of India while working with all the governments?
So right now I'm doing that only. I have like I have a few projects with the central ministries, so I'm working on a few schemes that cuts across the
Across India.
nation. Yeah.
So can you please tell the viewers about the doorstep delivery of public services that you've implemented while your time at the Delhi Legislative Assembly?
Yeah, sure. So it 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 was a very like I'll just try to put it in a very simple framework that we had learned. So the context was that to get a certificate out of the government, it was a big it was a big process that you need to visit to the SDM's office, the divisional magistrate's office, and submit a few forms, do a lot of red tapeism, and then get your certificate, like be it your a caste certificate, your marriage certificate, or anything, like even your driving license and so on.
Hmm.
What we incorporated in the doorstep delivery of public services was initially we selected a few services, largely which were of the revenue department, which was your caste certificate, income certificate, and marriage certificate, and like such certificates. And then like together with different consultants that we got on board, we brainstormed and we came up with this idea where like you could just call a toll free number. In
Hmm.
Delhi it's 1076. You can select your services through IVR and book your appointment. A mobile Sahayak will come home to you at your registered address that you have provided and collect all the documents and submit them in the SDM's office, and you will get your certificate or whatever you have requested via India Post. So this was kind of a project to digitize a lot of things and to reduce the TAT and reduce the delays because see, I mean, for anyone who has time, uh, they can go and stand in line and get these things done. But we thought, like, for example, it was a daily wage laborer who wants to get this. If that person is spending so much time in a government office, that person is losing their wages, their daily wages. So I think the idea stemmed from there, and I think it was directed by this. It was completely directed by the Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and this whole project came into being. And then, the nitty-gritties of it, we had a whole project management unit running under the administrative reforms, and then this whole project came into being, and it's still running.
Hmm. That's very great to hear that it's still running. So it's a follow-up question with the doorstep delivery of public services. So this the audience was obviously daily wage laborers and people from remote locations. These people don't have access to a lot of technology. So how were you able to overcome that obstacle?
So just to correct you, the target audience wasn't all these people who you mentioned. The target
I'm
audience
sorry.
were the citizens of Delhi,
Hmm.
and like because they also come under the gamut of being citizens of Delhi, we had thought of what is the highest tech that is accessible to everyone and the lowest investment by a person that can go in. So the answer to that was that everybody has a phone. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be a smartphone. So we did not go into, sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. People have phones, and we did a survey, and like almost 99.9% some decimal point, they had access to phones, not smartphones, but phones.
Hmm.
So we thought, let's do the IVR thing. You call on this number, you book your service. There is a whole call center that is there, and with not a lot of waiting time, and you just get it done. So it's like the highest tech that is available across the class,
Hmm.
and it was accessible.
Okay. So currently, you're working at EY as a senior consultant. So after working with the public sector for a very long time, what differences have you noticed in the corporate sector that are different from the public sector? Like the pros, cons, everything.
uh, i mean I mean it's on, and I would just say the salary part. And apart from that, it's mostly, I mean, because my projects are largely with the government, so nothing drastic has changed.
Hmm.
I'm still looking at the government and the public sector. So largely all my projects are with the central ministries, so it hasn't changed that much. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. Sometimes you have you all your L&D activities that are conduct that you that are done.
Hmm.
So you have a proper career development path. So that's a perk that I would say. And I mean, then the not really much cons. I mean, it depends on like how you conduct yourself and how you set your boundaries across the workplace, that matters. And mm, at least, you are like, people who are coming in, they are adults, so they need to know uh, to set boundaries and not just to be in the rat race. You'll get your chance, you'll have your moment to shine. You don't
Hmm.
have to shine all the time.
Okay. So I have a few extra questions for you. These are not technically related to your job, but what was one turning point in your career that made you realize that you were meant to be here?
I don't know. I mean, it has. I'm still searching for that question. That I'm here because I'm right now. I'm just living the moment. I'm enjoying my work, and but I'm still. I mean, to be very honest, I'm still searching for that moment where I have to. I have that feeling that, yeah, I belong here.
Even
It's
even after such a long time, you still
it's
have
it's
to
just been a decade. I mean, people have been working for like 30 years, 40 years. Still they haven't seen their movement. So like, if I am fortunate, maybe I'll see it in the next couple of years, or like maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It's
Okay.
it's
So
it's all good to wander, is what I
yeah.
feel.
Hmm. So have you made any unconventional decision in your career that like turned out to be very great? And
So I mean, I did my graduation as an aircraft engineer. So I would say that after my graduation and working there for a year, and then switching, and it's like, I would say that was pretty unconventional.
but it turned out for the better.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain.
Okay, so beyond just your career success, was there any personal achievements that you're very proud of?
I mean, like, it's like every day, I mean, I have learned to be a little self-obsessed, that I need to celebrate each and every um how, doesn't matter how small, like, if it's a win, it's a win. So that's why I can't really I think if you want a very tangible answer to that, was that I had recently finished my 2-year executive MBA while working. So
Congratulations on that, sir.
yeah, yeah. So I would say that was one of the achievement that I'd say that okay, oh, fine. It was more of finally I've done it, because it was like very tough managing your weekend classes and the assignments and all while
Well,
working, and
huh.
after such a after a long gap. So, and after, even though I pursued it because I still had a master's, even after that I went for it. So given all that, I would say that was really something that I wanted to do for myself. So that's why I think I completed it almost. So like, oh fine, I survived it.
Yes, that's that's us trying to get through our 4 years of college. Um,
Tragic.
Mostly, yeah. Um, for our last question, would you mind me asking about the mental health break that you took? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, definitely, I wouldn't
yeah.
mind at all. I think we should have started
So,
with it.
yeah, okay. So, as college students, we have a load of assignments that is just on our shoulders. It's burdening us. So, what do you think is a good way to notice that way we're doing? We need a break, and to stop our burnout. What do you think is a good way to notice it, and what do you recommend to relax? And what's your tips?
See, I mean, to be very honest, I've just started practicing it. So I really don't have great tips for you all, but I would just give one tip to you, that so listen to your body.
Hmm.
Your body knows when it's burnt out. Your body will tell you that I'm burnt out. If you don't have the motivation of waking up in the morning and doing anything, it means you're burnt out. And even like certain days, like even like say uh, today, tomorrow, if I don't feel like waking up in the morning, if my body doesn't naturally wake up and I want to sleep, uh, so at least I am mindful enough to know that whether it's like my body telling me that you're burnt out or it's just laziness. If it's laziness, I pull through it. But if I'm really burnt out, I know that I can't pull through. So
Hmm.
the reason why I took that break was this, because one fine morning I woke up and my body was just like, I can't do it. So, and then I was like, okay, fine, I need to take control of my life, get a bit more, start working on my health, not just my mental health, but physical health as well. Focusing on much more on what I eat, when I sleep, and I make sure that I have, I sleep.
Hmm.
And you just have to listen to your body. The signs are there. The signs are there.
Yeah.
And it's not rocket science. It's very easy. The signs are there. You know your body. Listen to it.
Well, it was really great having you, sir, and it was very informative, the session. I've really learned a lot. Um, Thank you. Was there anything that you'd like to share to our audience?
No, no, I mean, not like much. Mostly I have shared, but make sure that you listen to your body. Mental health is really very important. Don't ignore it. So is the physical health. And just try not to run in the rat race. There are too many rats that are already running. And make sure that you know what you want to do, rather than just chasing after uh, money and positions. Find what you want to do, find what you're good at, and that would really give you clarity of almost everything, and the rest you can figure out.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to our audience for
Thank you
watching.
for inviting me.
Thank you.